husband has been on me for several years to say, Martha, you need to write a book. And so he and my girlfriend from New York sat on my porch. We were on vacation in St. Lucia, and they came back in and said, Martha, you got to write this book. And there I was, and I found an organization that I called that my girlfriend had recommended to me that recommended Elite Online Publishing and one of publishing companies that I should contact. And that's how that started. And she stood there with me and said, you down the number right now. And
Hey everyone, it's Jen Foster here with the Elite Publishing Podcast, and we're really excited today to have three-time author and international bestseller Martha Daniel. And Martha is a trailblazing entrepreneur and cybersecurity innovator and a motivational speaker. And she just finished and became a bestseller for You Gotta Have Guts. She also co-authored $1 Million Conversation and The Other Side of Midnight in 2000. She wrote that one as well. So welcome, Martha.
it's a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Tell us, when did you first decide you wanted to write a book?
Let's see. I don't think I ever really decided. I think what happened was that it was somewhat decided for me along the way, and then I made the decision to execute on it. Let's use it that way. So, for example, the first book, On the Other Side of Midnight, was because of the crisis of the year 2000. And one of my consultants that worked with me said, Martha, we need to write a book, because we were actually working in that solving the problems for year 2000. And so she said, we need a book. So there she goes. She started writing. She said, you got to co-author. So there we were. So I said, okay. So I did start with me. The second book was where a group of women came together, and I was approached to be part of that group that said, Martha, we're going to write a book on $1 Million Conversation, and we would like to have you to be a part of that. And so I said, okay, I'll do that. And even in that book, Jen, he talks about that. So that's what happened at the beginning of that. And so then the third time, which is my husband has been on me for several years to say, Martha, you need to write a book. And so he and my girlfriend from New York sat on my porch. We were on vacation in St. Lucia, and they came back in and said, Martha, you got to write this book. And there I was, and I found an organization that I called that my girlfriend had recommended to me that recommended Elite Online Publishing and one of publishing companies that I should contact. And that's how that started. And she stood there with me and said, you down the number right now. And so that happened. Okay. And so I'm excited that it happened. But if I would say I always wanted to do that, I probably may have had something on the list seat one day I could tell my story. But it wasn't. It was my husband that really put desire in my spirit that I did have something to say. And I knew that time.
Yeah. So you had self-published the one you co-authored before. We were talking in the green room earlier, but what made you decide to work with a hybrid or self-publishing company now instead of going to the big five to do your memoir?
I think that as I had thought about it, at first I got a good recommendation. And then the key was getting into doing something that I don't know what I'm doing. Okay. And I wanted this to be really different. And the self-publishing book was more of a guide, instructions. It was more technology, a little bit easier to write. But I had no idea what I was doing. And I wanted to have a company that could really help me tell my story, help me in the right way to make this be a better product of expressing what I felt I needed to share in the process of writing this book. So
awesome.
That's in the two. Yeah.
Yeah. And I love that you worked with our editor and book coach, Anita, to help you with the writing, because sometimes you just need that guidance so you know what to put in what order and how to say it in a different way.
She was fantastic. Her team. I just love the interaction. It took a lot longer than we thought. The plan is there, and I'm sure that's it. When life happens, challenges happen. Entrepreneurs, we had a lot of changes that happened during the time that I started writing the book. And it did go over the timeline. And it was very nice that getting through this was important for me to do. So I missed a few deadlines, but I'm always deadline driven. But if you have situations in life that takes over, especially when you're running a business, it just took a little bit more precedence and a little bit more time. But Anita and her team, being able to have someone to look at this and say, oh, you lost me. What did you say? Where were you going? And even the guidance along the way. I wrote the book, but I had editors that were there with expertise and knowledge to be able to help mold that and make sure that I was saying, and it was going through a pattern where it would be interpreted and it would be a good book someone would enjoy reading. So I thank you as an introduction as part of the organization to bring me to some wonderful editors that were just fantastic, laughed, and we had enjoy. And it was a lot of work. I will not talk about it. It's done a lot of work, but it's well worth it. And I can do nothing but be excited about it today. That is accomplished. I feel very
Yes. I love that now you're an international best-selling author and now your plans to use You Gotta Have Guts is to speak, right? So tell us a little bit about what you plan on doing with the book now that it's a bestseller.
primarily the purpose is I'm moved towards, I call it retuning, not necessarily retiring, but as I reach my life, I look forward to going out sharing and empowering other women to be able to live their dreams. And so my idea is to move into the speaking circuit, to be able to go out and motivate and share what I've learned that would keep a person to continuously look at their dreams, look at their lives, and be encouraged. Because once you see someone else that had done it and it was all bootstrapped, it wasn't as if I had wealth of money and it just happened, at least being able to understand that you can do it too. So that's living the dream. And so that's my desire in my motivational speaking that I plan to continuously do. I've done some in the past, but this time I'm going to really direct it more towards a group of people, not just women, because it doesn't necessarily, the book really doesn't have a gender. It's towards people who have a dream and have all of the challenges in life that we are faced with to execute on that dream despite the obstacles and challenges that we may have in life.
Yeah, I love that. I love the message that the book gives. And tell us a little bit about what has surprised you the most now that you're a bestseller. Is there anything that's happened since the book's been published? What has surprised you the most about the book?
What has surprised me the most about the book is how many people buy it. I mean, I thought that's where, and the comments that come back and the remarks that I'm getting, and even the reviews that I'm seeing from different other organizations that have done reviews on the book. It's just, when I read that, I'm just like, wow, that's my book. One of the fun things I told my husband, I said, one of the most exciting things that happened because I travel a lot is to walk through the airport and you can see my book sitting there. I said, I can't wait for one day to see. He said, you better pass out. I know you will. I'm right here when I have to pick you up. I said, probably would, because that's exciting. But it is that of seeing the people. It's in different countries. I'm looking at people in different countries who bought it. It's just shocking. I don't know. I don't know what I expected, but so I'm excited.
Well, I do know that the average book sells only 200 copies or 250 copies in the lifetime of the book. So I love that you are willing to take the leap and do the campaign to get the bestseller and start getting the sales of the book. And I love that you have the goals and the desire to go in and speak and teach on your book, because you'll sell a lot more books as you're going to speak as well, because you can get speaking, you could include books in your speaking fees, or you can have the book in the back of the room, or all different ways to get people to buy the book while you're speaking and get more interest in just sharing the word. Because a lot of the marketing of a book is word of mouth. And so I love that you are going to speak in person and teach people the lessons and the wonderful things that are in the book about your life and what you've learned. I think that's awesome.
It is. Yeah. I'm excited about what's coming forward.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about your experience working with Elite Online Publishing. I know we talked about the writing part, but you can tell us a little bit about your experience working with us and just what was your favorite thing working with us?
I think the very first one I would say was when I had the first meeting where we spent a whole day almost going through developing what this book was about. I had no idea where it was going.
Every day of writing it,
yeah. And so after that, I come back, there's an outline, there's something there. It's not a blank piece of paper. I'm just talking. So that was the most exciting part initially. And then I think the other part along the way is keeping me on target. I think that if I did not have professionals centered around the book writing process, from the editing all the way through the publishing. I don't believe I could have done it because it requires a lot of interaction. And so the work that you guys did, the follow up, the staying on top of it, and keeping me focused. And we may have changed the last, but they came back with some new ones, and we met them. And so all of those things make a difference. So I would say kudos to Elite Online Publishing and to Anita and her team for getting the first part done. We got that. It was a little bit longer than I thought. I never thought I would write that many words, but it turned out to be a little bit bigger than even I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
So, but we cut out as much as we could, but it still turned out to be a wonderful book. I'm just excited for the outcome. The outcome is good. And then being a first one international bestseller was just wonderful. Have that title in so many different areas as well.
Yes. And now your book will be coming out soon in audiobook. So
Yeah.
people can get it on audio as well, which is another platform. So some people like reading the paperback, some people like reading the ebook, and it'll come out in audiobook too. So awesome. I love that. Tell people where they can go to get your book and to find out more information about you and your businesses.
I made it very simple. It's at www.marthadaniel.com. It's a website that we've already set up and established. You can learn a little bit more about me, speaking engagements, and where to purchase a book. Right there, it takes you out to Amazon and to Barnes & Noble, where you can purchase it. Click on the purchase button, and it'll take you directly there. Again, it's www.marthadaniel, no S on the Daniel.com. And you'll be able to find everything you need. The trailers out there, more about me, more about the speaking engagements, more about where I would like to go and the kinds of things that I'm doing with.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Martha. And we'll go ahead and put the link up in the show notes for marthadaniel.com, where you can go and get the book as well as hire Martha to speak at your next event. So please share this podcast, and we hope that you subscribe as well. Have a wonderful day, and good luck in writing or publishing your book.
If you want to write a book and become a best-selling author, you're in the right place. At Elite Online Publishing, we can help you create, publish, and market your book so that it becomes a #1 bestseller. We work with a limited number of authors to ensure that they receive the best possible service. So if you want to learn how to write and publish a book that will empower you to smartly grow your brand, business, and credibility, apply today. We look forward to working with you.